role in this global structure. But of course, we need to speak with one voice. The African voices can be voiced louder if it is spoken with together as one. And we talked about the reform of the UN Security Council, and we agree. We have this Ezulwini consensus that through which African Union have requested 2 permanent seats in the UN Security Council with a veto right, as long as it exists. And this is what actually my colleague from Benin was saying. Our initial preference as Africans is to get rid of the veto right, because no country should veto or take a decision for the whole world. But we know that we are realistic. We know that it will be extremely difficult from the current countries, the 5 countries that have the veto, to relinquish that right. This is why we say that we should have that right as long as it exists. But for Rwanda, we have our position on this, the 2 seats. It's not to give 2 seats to African countries as such. It's to have a seat, one of the seats, given to the African Union Commission to implement the African policy, peace and security policy. And then the other seat will be given to an African country on a rotational basis, so that we can have a say in African affairs, because 2/3 of the conflicts we have now on the continent are African issues. On the 2/3 on the agenda of the Security Council are African issues. But we also welcome that the African Union is now a member of the G20, and we believe that we could continue that movement and having also a say in other institutions, especially financial institutions and technical institutions. But definitely, Africa is a rising continent, and we should ensure that we have a bigger and a stronger voice in the international arena. I agree with my colleagues. You know, Africa is the richest continent on earth. We are still a developing country, which is a paradox, but we are the richest continent. We have vibrant youth, 18 years of median age. I think by 2050 we'll have 1/3 of the world youth will be African youth. So, but we still have challenges. We have conflicts, we have issues of bad governance. So we need first and foremost to solve those issues by addressing the root causes. You know, the root causes of all conflicts on the continent are always the same: the bad governance, lack of opportunity for the youth, and youth in employment, discrimination. So we should tackle those issues, because if we don't tackle them today, they will come back in 5-10 years. You know, I was reading something that 2/3 of conflicts, new conflicts that we have on the continent, are relapse of previous conflicts that were not properly settled back then. So we need really to work on solving those issues. And then we were talking about cross-border, which was really strange. So we need to focus on those reforms. But yet, until now, there is reluctance, not from outside, but from within the continent, to implement those reforms. Yet they are in our interests. We were talking about the free movement of people. We signed, I think in 2018 in Kigali, the African Continental Free Trade Area, but we also signed an agreement on free movement of people, which is really not implemented. We need to let Africa move on the continent. You know, we have our building blocks, the regional community, economic communities. We should first start with that, to ensure that we remove non-tariff barriers, we ensure that all citizens move around without any hindrance, because, you know, the European Union, they have the Schengen, they can move, but on the continent, it became difficult. In Rwanda, we decided, for example, for African citizens to remove visa for African citizens. Actually, we went further, and then we decided actually to allow all citizens of the world to get their visa on arrival. They don't need to ask for visa in the embassies. So we should go that route to do our homework ourselves before complaining